Hi friends, welcome back. So, question for you in regards to Tesla, is this about the money? In fact, Robin Denham, the chair of the board, recently wrote a letter, and here's a quote: "This is obviously not about the money." So that's the question I posed to you. Is this about the money? She's saying, no, it's obviously not about the money. Please pay the guy the money. It's kind of a weird thing to say, right? And then the joke, even the writer of the article is like, Tesla board chair writes, presumably with a straight face. The title, though, is Tesla CEO Elon Musk could leave a $56 billion pay package not approved, shareholders warned. And I'm starting with this headline and article because I think it really represents the absurdities happening in the market. And the question I also pose to you is, do you believe this when someone says this is not about the money? And the other question I pose to you is everyone a shill? I feel like today was a crazy day because we had the whole GameStop thing where it basically crashed. Nvidia stock splits, begins trading on Monday, and with the new share price, I think it's like a 10 for 1 or 1 for 10, I should say, would be a better way to say it. And then also too, we're going to have the Elon Musk vote coming soon. I think it's about a week away. We're at a really sort of precarious time. It could swing wildly either way. And talking about Tesla stock here, and you could make the case for the markets as well. Maybe we're all like, hey, is it about the money? Is it not about the money? The chair's trying to say it's not about money. It's about like some greater mission to make sure that Elon stays awesome. The stock itself though has been flat, basically, right? You can see it right there, the last month or so. And again, we're waiting on the vote. One of the interesting things I noticed too today, the market was mixed, but you look at Nvidia was a negative 0.06, basically flat, and then Tesla negative 0.2. And he also got this other quote. And again, this is from a letter that Robin Denham, the chair of the board, sent out to shareholders. If you guys got this letter, you can let me know your favorite quotes from it. Here's another one. Elon is not, he's not a typical executive, and Tesla is not a typical company. So we're not dealing with a typical situation. This is what it is. Here's another headline. A Tesla chair hints that Elon Musk could take his work other places if he doesn't get his big payday. And this is the quote. What we recognized in 2018 and continue to recognize today is that one thing Elon most certainly does not have is unlimited time. So Elon does not have a limited time, right? That's what he wrote in the letter. Nor does he face any shortage of ideas and other places he can make an incredible difference in the world. So it's interesting that you look at some of the quotes of this letter. Hey, Elon's not regular, Tesla's not regular, or whether they use the word typical. I think typical is the word they use, and they're saying like this is not about the money, guys. But Elon, he could go somewhere else. He's got lots of ideas. It's like what? And moreover, there's even something even more crazy. And this is where I posed to you guys, is everyone just all shilling here. This is in Tesla's SEC filings. There's something new every single day. Except this one was more unusual than most. This is again, SEC filing. It was on June 6th. That was the most recent ones. And they had this thing here, notice of exempt solicitation, name of the registrant Tesla, name of the person relying on exemption, Catherine D. Wood on behalf of ARK ETF Trust. So the question I pose to you is, how closely is Tesla working with ARK and Kathy Wood here? It's really bizarre for Tesla to be putting in their SEC filings tweets from Kathy Wood. And if we're talking about the ARK person, you guys know what I'm talking about here. Because someone actually posed the question today, what's different, or is anything different of what Kathy Wood does to say pump up Tesla and other stocks compared to say Roaring Kitty / Keith Gill and GameStop. And I mean, when you put it in that terms, you can make the case it's no different, right? You come out on whatever media platform and you say that you really, really like a particular stock, essentially what it boils down to, and then give whatever reasons why you like said stock. And then you convince all these other people to like said stock and get into said stock, and it becomes a big pyramid, right? Or Ponzi, if you want to call it that. But there's a slight difference between the two. But basically, you're just convincing other people to buy what you're selling. And what I find so interesting about this whole SEC filing, again, this is SEC filing on Tesla, is then they go and they just like say, hey, this is their 10 things that Kathy Wood is tweeting out on behalf of us. It is how I read this. And again, this is an SEC filing where they include Kathy Wood. I was going to show you the filing again here. It is such a weird one. Yeah. Notice of exempt solicitation, name of registrant Tesla, name of person relying on exemption, Catherine D. Wood on behalf of ARK Invest. So like to hear you guys' thoughts on this. It's strange. The whole thing is strange, but this is what a normal, normal, how you want to define that. This is what they've been recently filing with the SEC, is like this kind of stuff where they show, hey, this is Elon Musk telling people how to vote, right? They're kind of showing you what their priorities are in the SEC filing and trying to maintain transparency and how they're advertising this. And Tesla lately is spending all their time, trying to find a way to get Elon paid. And then now I guess, saying, hey, Cathie Wood is with us as well. It's strange. And, this is just how our markets are these days. It's largely driven by, stories and people. You want to talk about the Roaring Kitty thing? Went down like 40%, but I think it might even be more than that. I don't have the share price. I have to look at it again because it's still in the after hours. So, but I saw it top out at like 67-ish, something like that in the pre-market. And then last I checked, I think it was like in the 20s. You guys can let me know exactly what it is at the moment. And speaking of 20s, you remember that it was reported that Tesla was going to cancel their $25,000 car thing, and Elon's like, oh, you're just a bunch of liars, etc. It turns out, actually, you can get the $25,000 Tesla, just not the way you thought it was going to be. And I'll tell you how you can get it. If you want to go to Hertz and buy one of their cars, I guess they're dumping these things. They're calling this a fire sale. This is the title of the article. No haggle, $25,000 price. And this is my opinion on this one. I have no experience in it, but just my opinion and things that I've read. I probably wouldn't touch a rental car. Now, I'd like to hear if anyone has any experience buying a rental car. I just always been advised not to touch one. So the reasons why you wouldn't get a rental car would be like, people rent these things, they abuse the car for fun, they don't treat them very well because it's a rental, it's not their car. I guess the reasons why you would want a rental car is you could say, hey, these things are maintained by a company. They check it out every day. My experience with rental car agencies, whenever I go to one, I don't feel like the workers necessarily are, what's the right word to say it, like experts in car technology, etc., or keeping it highly maintained. But I don't work at Hertz, so I don't know how their inner workings, etc., and day to day at the site if they're keeping these things in good repair. But I'd personally, always a joke is you if you're gonna buy a used car, get the one from grandma that just goes to church on Sundays, right? That's always the joke. And this car I don't think fits that match, but to be fair to people who do want to buy this thing, 25,000, you're getting at a very I guess you could say reasonable, whatever you want to call it. Well, let's say lower price than what you could pick it up at Tesla, and it's significantly lower, I think. So you guys can let me know on that if you've ever bought a used car from the rental agency. Other things going on in the market as well, which was kind of interesting. Essentially, jobs reports came out, had two different things. So one is the jobs being added are higher than we had expected, I guess. They're mostly in healthcare. We talked about that several times, where there's always going to be opportunities there. And then unemployment ticked up because we're sitting at 4% now. Looking like the Fed is probably not going to cut. Even JP Morgan and Citibank was like, I guess they were pushing that there was going to be a July cut. I've never said that. I've always thought this stuff was crazy. But you could make the case that, just like, be it Robin Denham or Cathie Wood, shilling for Tesla, or Roaring Kitty shilling for GameStop, you could argue that JP Morgan and Citibank are shilling for the market. Like, these kind of people were telling you that they're going to be like, 7 cuts and this kind of stuff. And I'd be like, what are these people smoking, right? Now they're saying, okay, fine, we're not going to cut in July. Maybe we're going to cut in September. That's our base case. I guess my base case is that I don't think they're going to do anything this year. The basic gist of it is, guys, if rates are what they are now, right, and it doesn't seem like things are breaking, and inflation is not exactly where you want it to be, just keep them where it's at. The argument for cutting rates is, okay, if we want to have rates too high, we don't want to make money too hard to get because it'll slow down the economy too much, and then you got even more problems. Or you can make the case, the reason why we have to cut is because, oh my God, things are going terrible. We need to spur growth. But if you're in that sort of scenario where like things are okay, it looks like we're adding jobs, etc., unemployment's ticking up a bit, because you don't want unemployment at zero. You want it at a certain level amount. Essentially, is You want and this is also part of the reports as well. You want to have your wage growth at a, manageable, unemployment manageable, growth in GDP manageable, like all of these things together to be manageable and growing at a healthy pace. You want anything swinging out of whack, or the Fed reacting to, what's the right word to say, wildly or impulsively. And so like even if you got data that would suggest that things are slowing and everything's like doing okay in terms of like inflation and growth, et cetera, and the good balance with that, and then you'd want to see that for like 3 or 4 months. Well, probably more than that. You could argue 5 months, right? But this is sort of what's going on right now. Again, is it's kind of the bet is September is they may or may not have cuts, but I'm thinking not at all. The other thing too I want to mention, guys, as well, is the dollar is actually showed some strength. I noticed it because I'm in Korea, so I see the dollar all the time. It had a wild swing the last, I don't know, week or so. I mean, it's not like crazy wild, like GameStop wild, but it is noticeable. And also too, I noticed yields are ticking up. If the 2-year and the 10-year hit around 5%, it makes it tough for stocks to do anything. And essentially what companies have to do, so be it your Teslas, and here we're going to talk about Apple, or you talk about Nvidia, or any of the big companies, they have to convince you that their stock is going to go up and you should invest in them because they got new products on the horizon, their margins look good, they're going to make a ton of profits. And so when we watch these kind of events, so this, for example, believe this is Monday, Apple has their WWDC event. What is that? Is that the Worldwide Developer Conference? I think that's what it stands for. They're going to introduce some new things, and the big one is going to be, what is Apple going to do to integrate AI into their phones, computers, etc. Evidently, I think they're going to start with them sort of like beta rollout, so you won't necessarily have to be in the thing. I have Apple products, so I'm pretty sure I'll throw the stuff in there and give it a go and test it. But I do think I am, that's the right word to say. I don't know if nervous is the right word, but I'll just say cautious, where I give you examples. So let's say, and I used the example for yesterday, you search whatever crazy stuff you search for at 2 a.m. in the morning. And then, you're searching for something on your phone, and like your friend is there, or you have a parent there with you, or your wife or husband's there with you. And they ask you to search for something, and they're looking at you while you search. And then while you search in your phone, like kind of your search history pops up, and like, oh, I didn't know you were into that. So you guys can read that. I'm trying to make this a safe for work channel, but you can read into that however you want. Or, what if your boss is, by your computer, and you've been like searching for another job, and like, you go to your computer and it's like obviously that you're looking to leave a company. So there's all sorts of things that you do with your computer and your phone, et cetera, that you may not necessarily want to divulge to the world for any number of reasons. So I'm kind of curious how AI is going to play a role into that. Anyway, that's what's going on in the markets today. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on what I talked about with our markets. Manipulated ends, everyone's shilling everything. So thanks again, and I'll catch you on the next video.